Well, today you and I are going to have a brief conversation about tuition assistance and the whole issue of affordability. How does a family contemplate affording our schools? So why don't you tell us a little bit about, what different kinds of support and assistance are out there for families looking to start the independent school journey?
So here at the Academy, affordability is certainly a big issue. Um, it- Sometimes the price tag seems a little bit high, but the value that you receive at a private school far exceeds what a lot of times what you can get for free. I know both of my children are graduates of this school, and I think they are who they are today because of the tremendous foundation that they received here. And in fact, my wife and I laugh. It was a struggle financially for us to send us here, and we had a little bit of financial assistance as well. But they did so well in high school, and then college scholarships happened after that, that college cost less than, than the elementary school did. So I think that that's something that people really need to understand and are looking forward to what that investment is going to entail that you do early on. So because of that good foundation of education from a private school, then you are able to turn that into college scholarships because doing so well in high school after the elementary school version. So here at the Academy, we right now are offering financial assistance based on financial need. We have our families who are applying apply through something called FACTS. It's part of the program that we have. It's a third party program that they submit taxes and answer some questions, and everything is taken into consideration. And if they have other children at private schools in high school or elementary school, those are all taken into the families what they can afford. And then FACTS makes a recommendation to the Academy of what they feel that the family could afford to pay and versus what the actual tuition is. And most of the time we are able to grant that need that was there. We have an endowment fund that the interest is used for financial aid. So depending on how many families apply or depending on what the circumstances are, sometimes we aren't able to meet it as well as we would like. Sometimes we are able to talk to some of our alums and try to see if we can't get assistance in other avenues and find out ways as well, though. But just financial aid based on need is what we do.
And of course, all of our member schools that are in the Independent Schools of St. Louis Association all offer some level of assistance. And does that impact a family's application in any way?
Not at all. Not at all. No. Needing financial assistance does not impact admissions standing at all. We want to be a diverse school. We want to have people from different ethnic backgrounds and economic backgrounds because we feel that it actually creates a more robust program for ourselves and for who we want our children to be when they become leaders of the world. And so we are stressed that we really want to have every family that wants to have a private school education. And if they're a good fit for the school, a mission fit for the school, we try to make sure that they're tuition fit as well.
And does a family then need to reapply for that each year? Is that right? Can you talk a little bit about how that works?
Yes. Once you have applied, then it is necessary to apply again for the next year and submit that past year's income tax forms and things of that nature, especially if there's been any changes. This has been a tough time for a lot of families at private schools with the pandemic and loss of income, and we've been able to help a couple of families who hadn't needed help before, and because now they're having some situations, financial situations with the pandemic. So it's always an ongoing process. So my tip for any of our families that have applied for financial aid and you've received it, if your financial situation changes before you apply for the following year, please make sure you contact the business office or the admissions office and check with them to update your information. And of course, and if you win the lottery and you don't need the financial assistance,
right.
you can give back give it back, and then we can give it to another family as well. I kind of just a joke. We're hoping someone of our families will win the lottery and help us out financially.
Yeah, absolutely. And can you just talk about kind of the timeline, how the process works, when in the process does a family?
So for our current families, we ask that they reapply for the following year by, I think it's December the 15th. Tuition will be set and will be announced at the end of January. So that way they have a chance to know if it's going to work and serve their needs, and we have a chance to kind of figure out where they're at as well. For new families that are applying, it's an ongoing process. So depending, if it's a new family applying for financial assistance, they need to apply for the financial assistance at the same time they're applying to enter the school. So it's part of the process. And it's done through fax, which also tuition payments and things of that nature are all included in that information that you're filling out. So it's very easy for a family to continue on with the financial aid. It's just another page of the application through fax.
Great. And do you have any, any tips or any suggestions for families as they, consider
I think
this
a
process?
couple of tips that I have is, one, apply early, because we award the funds. We award funds to our families as the need is presented to us. And so the earlier that you can get into that process, I think the better chances you have of getting what you are asking for. The other is to make no assumptions and ask a lot of questions. Ask a lot of questions of the admissions office, of the business office, of anyone. I'm working with a current family now that has a child already here. They have a new one that will be entering next year. And so we've been going through and answering a whole lot of questions. So there's just so much that if you don't ask the question, you're not going to get an answer. And if you don't get that answer, you might not apply. And we want you to apply. We think the value of a private school education is outstanding. We know the results. And it's not that you can't afford it, you can't afford not to send your child to a private school. That's how I feel.